Listen, there's a lot to learn when growing and scaling your business.
That's why we created the Business Choreography podcast, where we talk about choreographing your marketing, operations, and sales into dynamic systems that increase your revenue and your impact.
We'll explore solid business principles and discuss all things that make businesses dance to success with clarity.
We'll help you figure out where the holes are in your business and what you can do to fix them. Think of us as your official business choreographers, aka your insider growth strategists.
Remember, your choreography matters. Welcome to the Business Choreography Podcast. What's up, everybody? Michael Johnson here with the Business Choreography Podcast. And we are backstage and behind the scenes, where we talk about the planning and composition of the parts and pieces of business that make up the experience you deliver to your audience, your team, and you. And as I said, I'm your host, former professional ballroom dancer, business investor, and official business choreographer, Michael Johnson. Today on the show, we have a very special guest, Jared Scott. Jared is a best-selling author and the visionary founder and CEO of Invst, with a background as a personal CFO, certified financial planner, and certified exit planning advisor. Scott is dedicated to guiding clients towards financial freedom. We've got to get Scott on the stage. We've got some really incredible things to talk about today and discuss. So let's get him on stage and get this party started. Scott, thank you so much for joining us today. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks for having me. This is awesome. You're
Absolutely.
doing a great job.
Super excited to have you here.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to talk about and a lot to cover. So let's jump in straight away and cover our first segment. We're going to have a lot of fun. I love these segments. They're cool. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
CHOREO Confessions, the unscripted reality, where we talk about choreography that fell apart or just didn't work, and we want to know why. CHOREO Confessions, right? Everybody's got some choreography that they built for their business. We're kind of talking, again, behind the scenes a little. We're going to get to a lot of the other juicy stuff as we go. But behind the scenes, you've built some choreography for your business that kind of fell apart and it didn't work. You know what they say, the best laid plans go awry. And so we want to hear about something you've built that just didn't work out the way you wanted to. You had to call an audible or something and try to make it come together.
Yeah. Isn't that the story of your daily life as a business owner and a founder, visionary?
I feel like it is.
100%. And, for Invst was founded 20 plus years ago. And, we've been going through this whole journey where you can write the best story ever, think about what the vision is going to be, but there's ebbs and flows and things that land mines and things in your life that distract you from getting there. And that's the journey we're all on. And that's always the thing we're trying to solve, is how can you be so aware of where you currently are and adapt to the landmines as they happen. And we talk about accelerating forward. And so I would like to say that my journey has been smooth. There's been no issues. But if we're going to be vulnerable here, it has been the most rocky, hard, painful journey ever. And even the best entrepreneurs out there just can endure more pain than others. And that's been my journey. And I actually had a nice little conversation with some of our advisors today, and there's a big conflict happening within our organization. And you always have to look back into yourself, like, what is it? And what I found about myself is, like, my professional self was like, have I done really a clear job of communicating our vision? Have I been open, honest, and fully aware of what the demands are of the people we serve back to me? And when I was able to sit down one-on-one to get that information, I found out that they weren't clear on vision. They weren't clear on accountability, who's accountable to what. And there was only like one little thing that they really needed to know that would have solved all the problems. So you think about months and months of headache, and all you had to do is and I just had to keep asking better questions. And as you start to ask more and more questions, the root of the problem was so entrained, and we pulled out the root. And then once you get really good at solving that issue and finding the actual root, not glossing over it, and then you can take the issue to a solve. And now you can start to build the life that you want, the choreography that you have, like the studio, but there's issues that are happening in our life all the time. So it's all about, how do you have the vision? How do you communicate the vision? And how do you get really good at solving issues so that way the community can grow? And it can't just be the owner. Like we got 83 employees now. It's got to be the leadership team. It's got to be the employees. Are we rowing in the same direction? Are our values aligned? So what was great in this conflict that I had today was we all have the same values. Great. We believe in the what we do. We believe in our niche. We believe on these things. Great. So now we got to get to the root of the issue. If we're not aligned on values, now we got a big problem. If we're not aligned on the specifics of the vision, then we got a big problem. So we had to go back to what are our values of an organization? Are they followed by all? Are there things that we're off to solve the people problem? Then how clear is the vision? And then how do you get really good at solving real legitimate issues that are important to people in different ways from their point of view and perspective?
How did you go through the growing pains of getting to that 83 person staff and being able to deal with those along the way? Because I think there's probably a lot of our listeners that are like maybe in that space and growing into that and going through the growing pains of like, I planned it, but and I feel like they know what I'm doing, but even listening to you talking to us going, "Oh, okay, they did. I thought they knew, but they didn't know." So how did you kind of navigate that?
So when we started the company, we talk about like your physical, like we talk about PI, right? Like your physical thing. So it's like I can outwork everything. I'm just gonna go outwork it. And then at some point, like you got to go to college and learn something. So then you end up like figure out, well, I got to have a high IQ. So I'm going to go learn a trade, learn a skill. That only gets you so far. Then you got to figure out what's your EQ. So now you got a bunch of people that work hard. They got great IQ, but what's their emotions like? How are you managing those emotions?
Right.
And then you go to this whole new thing of like, what is this whole, what we call AQ squared, which was like, you're adapting and awareing at a high level and you're becoming more efficient and it helps you accelerate. So if you look at the best people, I went from the do state to this next level. So we talk about linear. Linear thinking is like, you do a certain set of things over and over again, you get this compound interest growth. Then you go, I'm going to go exponential. It's like, well, how do I do that more effectively? So I'm really to understand how I can create two new ways of going. And you get this whole quantum thinking where now you're like so clear and you're so aware of what's happening in the present. So I can go dig out the root. I can start doing that. So in our journey, I've had to learn how to go from this PI all the way over here to this AQ squared, which is quantum thinking, to where we've been able to go from working in the business, being human doers, to human beings. So now we're being something, we're transforming an industry, we're being something different. But I had to go through this journey of the last 20 years to get to the point like, man, actually, we are going to not go from doing to being and changing the industry in that way. So that's a professional journey personally for me as a visionary. And then it has to go through to where now 80 people are saying, you know what, I want to rally behind that.
Right. I love that. And that's so important. And I think that a lot of businesses go through that. And I love how you've put that out in it's a very mappable and journey. And that's really cool. So I hope that all of you listening, I hope you wrote that down, right? Go back, rewind, listen to it again, write that down, because that's freaking huge right there.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the next segment. You ready to go?
Let's do it, baby. Ready.
Right. Current Events Choreo, exploring today's choreography, where we talk about the best piece of choreography in the news or current events. This is one of my favorites because I love perspective, and it's so easy to get lost in your own forest of trees and you can't see out. It's always great to get perspective from everybody else. We talk about choreography in business all the time. This is normal for us. But what we love hearing is other people's perspective that are experts in your field and what you're seeing. So what kind of great choreography are you seeing in current events or things that are going on in the news or whatever that you're like, dang, that is a good piece of business choreography. Look at what they're doing. I just love to hear other people's perspective on what they're seeing in the world right now.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like, so our company's called Invst. We do a lot of like in helping people invest in their future and their families and like themselves. And what I love the fact that like people are really starting to be self-aware of like who they are and what they want to be. But if you look at the stock market this year, the NASDAQ has just been on fire. And there's a huge undertone of things that are happening that I think people aren't realizing. But the world as it is today is moving faster than it ever has. And it has to deal with all this stuff that's happening around, like what I talked about before in the last segment, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and all these things that are happening where a lot of the jobs and things that we do today will be obsolete in the future because this is happening so fast. So what is happening is this huge transformation within the way everything's processed that we have an absolute huge opportunity to take advantage of, no matter what field you're in, on how efficient you can run and all this. So the moment you can start to get to being aware what's happening around you and be able to adapt to that awareness, that's how you start to accelerate to the life that you want. And like they talk about like, oh, the industrial revolution, all this, and no way this tech thing that's happened with all this stuff, like we're like literally entering the next era of this thing. And it's got so much more exponential growth than ever done. And I think everyone's sitting back going, oh, who's going to get elected as president in these two whack jobs? Like what's happening? And we're losing sight of, we're literally sitting in the best era humankind has ever known. And we're sitting there worried about all the noise out there, like the political climate and the wars and all that stuff. And the undertone is there's a transformation happening where the whole world is transforming underneath our eyes. And who's getting the attention? Right? We're too busy watching social media and all this stuff. And they're mining every mind, thought, set thing that's happening at the same time. And they're manipulating the way you want to think. So how do you control your mind so you think the way you want to do to get what you want? And that's the game we're playing right now.
Right. I mean, and it's intense, especially as we head into election time now. They're all, I heard, I did an interview with another guest a while back, and he said, I don't know what's scarier, the politicians or the fact that the politicians now know marketing.
Exactly.
And now it's really scary because now they know about marketing and they're hiring legitimate marketers to do their campaigns. And like you said, I mean, keeping a guard on the door to your mind is, I mean, you have to be so vigilant and that's challenging.
Because it goes back to that EQ, your emotion sides. They're playing on those emotions to make you make a decision. But if you're not aware of who you are and be able to know what that is, then the human race starts to make decisions that are out of their normal set of wares. So the next level of evolution is really investing in yourself and getting back to being versus doing and knowing what that is. And the greatest thing in the world is we are in America. So you have a great chance of survival because we have some good core fundamentals that if people start paying attention could be brought back to where they were in the future and in the past, right? It's what that was. So, and I don't think they're broken. I think they're evolving, they're changing, and we're trying to find out who we are. And the president doesn't dictate that. We do as people. So let's start to have some personal responsibility to what we want.
And maybe even more so now than it ever has been. That we have to have that personal responsibility. I mean, and I'm sitting here talking to somebody that's all about investing and your future. And you're talking a lot about investing in yourself. And I mean, that is so refreshing. And it's so great to hear because not only is it important to invest in all the other things and the stuff that we're going to get to in a little bit, but like, I love how much you're talking about investing in yourself. There's so much value in that. And I mean, how can somebody that's hearing you right now and that's resonating with them, if they're thinking EQ, okay, I've got to do that. How can they do some more to invest in themselves right now?
The best thing you can do, like for us, is that we built this platform. So if you go to acceleratedadvantage.com, there's a way for you to get like a lot of that framework. So I just wrote a book called Accelerate, and inside the book, there's a why accelerator. So it gives you some more intentionality, like your why of where you are.
Right.
The company may say invest, but invest stands for so much more than that. Because what is your most important asset? Is it your stock portfolio? Is it your business? Is it your whatever you think your asset is, your car, your house? The answer is you are your most important asset. So if you're going to invest, well, should we look inward at who we are? What is our why in the world? What is it that we want to do? What are our values as people? And what are we doing? So when we look at it, how do we get clear with your why first? Then we start to understand our data and how we're organizing ourselves. Who's accountable to our success? Who's going to help me execute? What are my rules to money? And then how do I get there faster? Because you deserve to have more than you ever imagined. And let's just get real clear on what that might be for yourself.
Right. Right. And it's going to be different for all of you. So it's important that you go do that. You got to check out that book. We'll put the link for
Yeah.
sure in the description when we at the end, or you can probably already see it now. So you guys are going to want to pick that up for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. And that's great advice. Let's kick into the next segment. It's one of my favorites. It's super fun and just a little silly, but also I think important. So you ready to go?
Let's do it, baby.
All right. Choreo Crap, exposing the bad choreo, where we expose the worst pieces of choreography that have been purchased. I love this one because as business owners, we've all bought crap for our business. And, nobody is immune from it. Even the most of us, I think as business owners, we learn to be more and more positive as we go and just look at the bright side. But the truth is that we've all paid for and bought crap choreography for a business. I'd like to know about one or two of the pieces of crap that you've purchased and you were just like, that was just not good, because I want to pass that on to other owners that, like, first of all, you're going to buy crap. It's just going to be part of the journey, but also like maybe some like fair warning, like don't do what I did,
yeah. That's a great segment. Like you think about it, and I think of the success of Invst is because I've done a lot of stupid things over a long period of time that show that what you not to do. So you have a better idea of what does work. Right. And I'll tell you, I'm as guilty as it is. I probably spend close to $1 million a year on personal development and products and things like that just to learn and to get better on stuff. Like LeBron spends on his body, I spend it on crap, if you will, crap choreography, like things like that. And so I've done everything from real estate riches, how to day trade for a living, how to scale and grow your business, how to buy multifamily, how to do social media, how to build a personal brand. I've had the likes of Gary Vaynerchuk come and speak to our group, and so I can be close to him and these transformers and all that. And I thought there's one site that was interesting to me. My friend turned me on to, and I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's called Baller Busters.
Oh, geez.
So Baller Busters is literally, it's a site on Instagram, and it has all these people that are talking about their get rich quick schemes, and all their things are saying like how to get healthier faster and all this stuff. And it's hilarious because you go through all these people that are selling exactly what the segment is. And you sit there going, yes, I see that. And I'm like, you don't get fit by eating the pill, man. You got to work out. You got to do diet. Like it's the comprehensiveness of it. Or, Grant Cardone, you're going to make you rich in real estate and all that. And I was like, well, why did all those go bankrupt and these worked? And then, but the pill isn't the answer. It's the comprehensiveness of everything. And that's like, man, like the books that always resonated with me was like a Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. It had like these principles and things in it, or like a Ray Dalio book that talked about here's the principles of living, or Warren Buffett's story and all that stuff. So I just was doing a lot of stupid stuff for a long period of time that didn't work. That led me to this program like Accelerate Advantage and Invest for Life. And it's like, well, here's why Ray Dalio had really good investment strategy. He had rules to money, he had evidence. This is why the people that transform the world, like a Steve Jobs or even an Elon Musk, who said, like, I got a why, man. I'm going to move. I'm going to Mars, right? And JFK said, I'm going to the moon. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to build it. They knew their why. They knew what they were here to do. So we took the best of all the crap and we said, look, I like to start with why. I think Simon Sinek had it figured out when he said that. But what's that mean? How do I take that into an actionable thing that I can get there with? Because once you get clear on that, then you can do, I like knowing where I am. So how do you build a financial game board? So you're playing the game of chess versus the game of checkers in your financial life. Or who's accountable? Is your attorney letting you down, your CPA, and these people there? Like, what are they doing? Are they just trying to sell you a gimmick? Or are they actually part of the solution? Right? We don't want to treat the cancer with a pill if it's not the right pill, right? What is that? Right. And then who's your execution partner? How you doing? So in the book, we create the principles that allow you to have a framework so you can take the crap and put it through a test to see if it's real or not, weigh and measure decisions based against your why. So now you have a place where you can start to think about what that would be. So if it's like scaling your business, what's the operating system am I using to do that? What are the frameworks? What are the principles associated with that? So I think that gives you a huge BS test. So you're not watching Baller Buzzers like, dang, man, I gave that dude 10 grand to help me with my financial life, or I gave him to help me be less fat and I'm fatter than ever, like whatever that is. So that's, to me, that's a great site to check out. But anyway, I'm with you I'm still guilty. I still do it. I'm just more aware of when I do it and what my why is and how that goes, because I do want to learn. I want to grow, and everyone on your podcast does too. They wouldn't be listening if they want. They're not. So it's like saying yes is a good thing, but you got to learn how it's going to be put you in a bad situation and know the no's, where you're saying no more often and you're saying yes to the right things. And you start to be able to be more self-aware of what's going to help you get to the next level than not. But I also don't want to stunt your growth by saying, hey, don't try anything. Actually, saying yes helps you a lot. I wouldn't have gotten here if I said no to everything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, your story there reminded me of back in my professional dance days. I remember the first time I had paid like big bucks for a lesson from this really top end coach, right? It was just somebody that had been a world champion, and we paid for this like 4 lessons from them. And we got done and we thought, that is crap. Like this person was a world champion level coach. And we were like, that was crap. We just threw away all this money. And we took that and we went back complaining to our main coaches, our main mentors. And they said, that's fine. It sounds like it was crap, but you just paid all that money for it. Let's figure out what we can take from it so that it isn't all burned.
That's
that
great.
The money didn't go up in smoke. And that was kind of the first indication and direction for us to start doing, I think, what you're talking about, which is like, yeah, it might be crap, but how can you take it? And maybe it's just to say, I'm never going to do that in the business. Maybe I'm never going to do that thing or offer that kind of offer. Or maybe it's that you literally are squeezing out, the juice from what it was they did give you and putting it to use so that it didn't go to waste. And
and so that's your first version of being, that's quantum thinking. You put your trust in this high value thing, came back, found out that it wasn't the success, but then you were aware of it. Now you're going to adapt to what would be the thing that I'm going to do. Now imagine when you start doing that across all areas of your life and how much faster you can accelerate to get in the life that you want. Why would you retire from the life you love? Like you don't. Like I just become work optional. So let's redefine what that is for yourself. Because if you hate the life you live right now, then it's the wrong life. What's it going to look like? So you want to talk about being a choreographer, write your story. I give you the pen. Let's design the life you want. And then let's back in. Now let's find the who's that are doing that to be more aware when they are filling us full of not the right thing that I'm looking for today. So I love that story. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Quantum thinking, baby. It's what you do.
That's the way to go. All right, next segment. You ready? This is probably my favorite. We got to jump into some more. You ready?
All right, yeah.
CHOREO Confidential, the secret sauce, where we talk about insider secrets that make businesses dance to success. Here's where we get to talk about what you're up to these days. You're building some cool stuff. We want to know, again, this is behind the scenes. So this is the confidential secret sauce. So hopefully you'll share some with us of some stuff that you're doing that's working.
Yeah.
And that also leads us to the point where we can talk a little bit more about literally how you're helping people, what you're doing, and how they can get connected to you. So let's start with some stuff that you've seen that you guys are doing and actively working on that is working for your business.
Yeah. My core specialty was working with entrepreneurs, helping them grow. And what we were really good at doing from a tech world, I would organize their financial life. For the first time, they would never be able to see their personal balance sheet in real time. So it's like your assets, your liabilities, your cash flow, your P&L, and your protection. 4 dimensions of your personal life, how that moves through life. What would happen for an entrepreneur is it's a complete scattered mess, right? It's like they're growing to somewhere, but their largest assets, their business. 90% of their wealth was tied inside that one drawer, the business drawer. And it was the most powerful drawer. And as a wealth manager, you're really good at managing paper, but how well are you at managing hard assets, the business? And this was a big aha for me because your personal life's going one way and the business, they're parallel paths. If the person gets out of whack, if the business gets out of whack, and then I was like, what's the third? What's the professional component? If any 3 legs of those stool fall down, the whole stool falls over. So I'm like, wow, what's the solution to that problem? And we called our company Invest. We invest in you, your family, your future. We said it should be Invest for Business. Most people don't even know what their value of their company is today and what best in class looks like. They've never seen that. So we took this framework that we learned from exit planning and said, look, what if I took your company right today, knew what it was, what's best in class, but then it gets you so crystal clear on your personal side of why you wanted it in the first place and how to pay yourself first versus put money in and build this as an asset. And then how do we actually put an operating system to run the business so people are accountable? Because clients would come to us and say, hey, can you help me? I want to raise money for this equity for this business. And I saw companies that would scale and sell for billions of dollars or go public and all that stuff over and over and over again. But there was a framework to it. There are certain things that they did that other people didn't do. And so we built that in Invest for Business, where there's principles. There's 6 principles for building your personal life. There's 6 principles for running and managing your company, and they go parallel. But until you can master those in whatever way, you're going to have issues. So once I figured that out, now I can say you can go from working for cash flow to building enterprise value in the business, which increases the wealth on your balance sheet. So now it's just not your largest asset. It's a cash cow for you. And you're having fun. You're enjoying what you're doing because the people that you put in place are accountable to the success of the business that are following your why. And now you're like, I don't even think I want to sell this thing. It's self-running and it's great. Why would I let go of something that's so good? So once I saw that I could solve that problem, and then I could get the highest multiple. We sold a home healthcare business for 12.2 multiple, the highest multiple in the industry for what that thing went for, because they had all these things put in place. So the next home healthcare company comes and says, hey, how do you get that? I was like, well, you got to do this, this, and this. Now I got a framework. And I was like, boom. So now that wealth goes back in the personal balance sheet. It's a great day for us. We get to help them with it. And then what do they want to do? I want to invest in more businesses like myself. I want to buy some real estate. I want to cash flow some other things. I want to build a family office out and all these things. It's the whole circle of life. So what we've uncovered is this Invest for Life, this Invest for Business, where there's 2 current paths they're going. And we created a framework to do it. And that's how we've had so much success in our company of growing in the wealth building business, where most wealth managers in the wealth management business, we're building the wealth. And we can help these entrepreneurs grow, scale, and get real value out of it and have fun along the way. And to us, that was like the ultimate hack. It was like the simplest solution we could do. And it's a proven process that works for you. So
I love that.
There's a lot of meat on that bone that we can unpack later, but there it is.
I love that. And talk to us. I mean, you mentioned your book earlier. Talk to us about how we can get connected to that and find it, maybe get it ourselves, and maybe even get in and work with you. I know you've probably inspired some people to want to get in and go, oh my gosh, I got to do that. You said what I needed to hear today. And how can they find you? How can they get connected?
Yeah, if you go on scottjared.com, you can get the book, ask for a copy. I'll get you a copy. You can schedule a meeting with me to go through that stuff if you want. An Accelerated Advantage, we're having a webinar on May 30th at 2 p.m. And we're going to talk about the 6 principles and how that goes. So we'd love to have people who want to build their personal life that actually will support their business life a long time. That will be there. But a lot of the frameworks are in Accelerate. And if you are just totally scared to talk to me, I'm really fun, I promise. But it's on Amazon and it's there too. And also, if you guys check out, you like Indy cars, man, we got this Invest Indy car. It's legit. So,
nice.
So Jack Harvey, my boy, my client, we helped him get on the track. So we got duped into sponsoring it, which is awesome. So we have a limited edition Accelerate book. So if you buy this, it'd really help because I really can't afford the race car. So it'd be really good. All right. But it's awesome. But any Indy 500 track or Indy track that's happening, we'll have the car out there. Feel free to reach out. We'll be there. So we'd love to have you out this summer for Indy races or Accelerate. But it's all about, this is the year, man. Accelerate your life. You deserve it. We're here for you. So that's how you reach me. I'm here.
I love it. That's awesome. We'll put that stuff in the notes for you guys to see and easily click on and get to. But of course, before we let you go, I need some sage words of wisdom from your journey. What can you leave us with?
Yeah. I mean, it has to be Accelerate. Like I grew up poor, had nothing, poverty, food stamps, you name it. And life's short. And if you don't want something in your life, like if you don't really, like, you got to want it. You got to accelerate it. Like, life's too short. Like, go get it, man. So hack your future, live the life you want, accelerate. And words of wisdom, you deserve to do it. You really do.
That is so true. I love that. Well, we appreciate you so much. And guys, until next time, remember, business choreography is what makes up your show. You might have a one-man band, a crazy circus, a finely tuned ceremony, but no matter what, if it's working, there's choreography behind it. If it's not, there probably isn't. remember, if it's your show. If you don't choreograph it, it's going to suck. So until next time, keep choreographing your business, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much.
Write your story, baby. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today.
Want more business choreography?
Check out our website at bizchoreo.com to find out more.
And find out how the choreography for your marketing, operations, and sales can raise your revenue and create more impact.
Remember, every business needs choreography.